Get ready to collect your favorite animals and build your own zoo. This is our review of Ark Nova.
Ark Nova is a hand management, set collection, tile placement game where players are trying to build the best zoo, and I had a lot of fun learning this.
There's been a lot of hype around Ark Nova, and I think it deserves all the praise it's getting. We'll tell you more about it after this quick how to play.
On each player's turn, they can take one of 5 actions, and the strength of the action is determined by the placement in the lineup.
Players can play animal or sponsor cards, they can build buildings or enclosures, they can take association actions, or they can draw more cards.
Players can only play animals into empty enclosures that they built on other turns.
Association actions will give players advantages such as lowering the cost to play animals, as well as adding income during the income phase, also known as breaks.
Players will play animals to increase the appeal track of their zoo and support conservation projects to increase their conservation track.
Once one player crosses their appeal and conservation tracks, the endgame is set into motion.
The other players take one more turn, and then everyone calculates their score. The player with the highest positive score wins.
Like I said at the top, this game has been getting a lot of hype, and I think it deserves all the praise that it's getting. It gets a lot of comparisons to Terraforming Mars, and I think that's applicable. The main difference is that Terraforming Mars is about space, and Ark Nova is about building a zoo. So I think it's up to you which theme you like more.
So I will say, when we did the unboxing, even when we set up here for this video, this game is, for lack of a better word, a beast. So you can see all the pieces, right? You've got the player pieces, the different maps that you can play, the long main board that you play, and then the association action board, and then these little thing for all the other pieces. So lots of table space is needed.
On your turn, you can only take one of 5 actions, and how powerful that action is will be dependent on where it is in line, either 1 through 5. So even though there's a lot going on, you are very limited to what you can do on your turn, so you don't really need to pay attention to what everyone else is doing. This is very much a solitaire game. You just focus on your zoo, what you need to do, and follow order of operations, and you shouldn't have too much analysis paralysis because it's like, okay, I need to do this, then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this.
You know, I might challenge that there's less of analysis paralysis because all these cards are different. And if you gotta like read through them and you're just like, oh, what did this do again? Geez. Or, you know, you draw a new one or you're seeing what's available and you're like, hold on, I can do this. Oh wait, let's look at these conservation projects. Like all these cards are different. So I had a lot of analysis paralysis, but I normally do anyways, I guess.
So I'll backtrack a little bit and say that there might be a lot of choices, but not as much as you think there are before you learn how to play the game. When you look at it, it looks like there's more that you can do than what you can actually do. So once you actually start playing, it becomes less overwhelming.
I think one component I had a lot of fun with was the tile placement that you can place on the map. It's almost like its own little mini game. So you place the enclosures and then you can place an animal by flipping it. And then you just kind of build around the map, and your little mini game goal there is fill the whole map and then you'll get more points. However, if you cover other spots on there too, you get bonuses also. So while you're worrying about building appeal and your conservation, you're also like, okay, you know, while you're doing that, let me see what I'm gonna do on my map over here.
This game incorporates a lot of mechanics that I enjoy in other games separately, and it combines them all. So I like tile placement in some games. Well, this one you have tile placement on your zoo board as you're placing your enclosures and your buildings. This one has set collection where you're collecting certain animals, and certain conservation cards, you'll get more points if you collect certain sets of those animals. And this game also has hand management. So you have all these cards in your hand and you're trying to play them before you get to a break when you either have to draw down the 3 or 5 cards. So you really have to manage your hand wisely so that you can play them as soon as possible before someone makes a break happen. And this game also incorporates a little bit of engine building depending on how you play your sponsor cards and then how you order the animals that you're playing. So I like a lot of the different mechanics are being intertwined and really being developed very well in this game.
Yeah, and it just seemed like it flowed together, right? It's not like, okay, well, there's the tile placement. Like you never worry about that ever again. Like they connect together when you're doing it. So I really think a lot of thought went into that.
It almost flows better than Terraforming Mars. I love Terraforming Mars. It's one of my favorite games. And I do think I like Terraforming Mars a little bit better than this one, only because of the theme. I'm one of those people, I like the space theme more than the zoo theme. I do like the zoo theme though. But this game does flow better than Terraforming Mars. I think one of it is that you're not so dependent on income. Yes, you do need income to play certain animals, but there's still so much that you can do without income while you're waiting for a break to happen.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of Terraforming Mars, you know, there's that time when you're just sitting there and you're like, all right, I'm done. Whereas in this one, you can just continue shifting your cards around, like your lineup, so that it prepares you for after the break, and do other little moves here and there. So I think I really like that aspect, that I'm not just sitting around like, hurry, like go, like I need money.
This one, you're always doing stuff until someone triggers the break. So there's that feel of a countdown, that sense of urgency while you're playing this game. You want to do everything you can before the new round happens. You don't really get that feeling in Terraforming Mars. You really got a lot of, all right, I'm done, I'm complete, I finished everything, now let's move on. And this one, it's like, oh, I still gotta do this, I still gotta do this, I still gotta do this.
I can relate to the whole sense of urgency, right? Because in the very first couple of rounds or after breaks or whatnot, I accumulated a lot of appeal and I was in the lead. So I'm like, oh man, this is moving fast. So that means if I move the other one fast, it'll get there quick. So I have sense of urgency, but I also have like a just bad judgment of time or how far I am in the game, because it looks like it's close. But one time he was just like, yeah, there's about 2 hours left. And I was like, what?
The game ends when the appeal track and the conservation track cross, and then you add up the scores by subtracting the lowest of your conservation number from your appeal number, and that gives you your score, which then means that some people can have negative scores. And that's one of the first issues that I have with this. It's not a huge issue, it's just something that I feel like you've been playing this game for 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours, and if you get to the end of the game and you have a negative score, it's gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouths. I do enjoy the way that it ends. However, I do know that if you do get a negative score, you are like, yeah. And if it's the first time that you've played this game, you're like, well, I spent 4 hours playing, I was doing everything, I thought I was doing everything correctly, I still got a negative score and I lost. I don't really like this game. It doesn't give you that adrenaline rush at the end going, oh, I scored so much, but Lee still beat me, let me get him next time. It's like, oh, I did so well and I got negative. Well,
The engine building component really got me in a good way and got me in a bad way when I played this game. You can get more workers, you can upgrade your action cards, you can go to the university or get those associations. So as you're slowly building, you gotta make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot later in the game. So what happened to me was I had too many workers. And like I basically, when it got to like I could get the last worker, it's like, oh, well, you wasted a turn earlier in the game so that you can't upgrade anything here now, any of your action cards. So you have to take a worker that doesn't exist or doesn't do anything. So,
This game is definitely for more advanced board game players. I don't think I would show this game to first-time game players. I don't think I would show this to people who like Ticket to Ride and those kind of lighter games. But if someone enjoys Terraforming Mars or someone enjoys games of that level, this is definitely one that they should play. Everyone should play this game that loves those types of games, because I think that you will definitely enjoy this. It streamlines a lot of the mechanics that I enjoy in games, and it streamlines a lot of the mechanics that I think that other people like in games like Terraforming Mars. Another critique I have, and it's probably just because it's the base game, because I can already foresee lots of expansions coming out for this game, but it's the amount of conservation cards and endgame cards that you get, because there's only so many of them that once you play it 2 or 3 or 4 times, this game will get a little repetitive with those cards. Yes, there are more conservation cards that you can get with the zoo cards. However, the starting ones that are there, they're always permanent. They're at the bottom of the association track. There's only so many of those. And I just feel like there could have more variety in there, make it a little bit more replayable as you go. They could have done a little more. You have so many of the zoo cards, they could have fit in a few more of the other cards.
Overall, I really enjoyed the game. High marks for the theming, the artwork, all the pieces, like everything is bright colors. Every symbol has its place and its meaning. I really like how they tied everything together with the mechanics. I mean, just overall everything. I will say, if I have to think about the similar games, just different theming, probably the dinosaur world. That's probably my more favorite one, just because I like dinosaurs better. But if I gave it a score, I'd probably give it a 7.5.
Overall, I'd have to say that I love this game. It's one of the few games that the very first week that I got it, I played about 20 times. There's only about 2 or 3 games that I could say that about. This one has all those mechanics that I want, and I do like the zoo theme. It's just not my favorite theme. And there are a couple minor little things here and there that I would tweak or add a house rule here. But at the same time, like I said, I love this game a lot. So I'm gonna give this game a 9. And that was our review of Ark Nova.
What'd you think? You ready to take a walk on the wild side? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny. I go party like a board gamer.